Hey guys, how are you? What's up and welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. Today I want to talk to you about immigration, medical examination, and why it can be a nightmare and why it's been a nightmare for my parents. So I'll talk about things that you should know about it. Why medicals are done, when they're done, what they're looking for, what can be a good thing about it, and how it can turn into a nightmare, just like it turned for many people. In fact, if you look online, you can be medically inadmissible to Canada, which means is that you guys have met the entire criteria. Everything is good, so you fully qualify to come here, to work, to live, whatnot. But all of a sudden, you have to do medicals. And then the doctor's panel of physicians might claim you medically inadmissible by the findings that they have, and all of your plans of immigrating to Canada, they're gone. They won't let you. They might reject your entire application based on that. So it is a serious thing, medical examination, and it should never be taken lightly. Okay guys, when does it happen? How does it happen? Let's start with how. First thing is, if you're coming to Canada for more than 6 months, be it a working visa, be it a student visa, or super visa like my parents came here, and especially for permanent residency, if you're doing your immigration, they do an in-depth medical examination in the panel of physicians. So what they're searching is two things. One thing is safety. So they want to make sure you don't have any contagious diseases that would influence safety of Canadians. So they want to make sure that you don't have something so contagious that's going to spread around and get everyone sick here before you come to this country. Second thing is, they want to make sure you're not too expensive. Now, we have universal healthcare here in Canada. Every province has its own healthcare here. So what happens is this. You come to Canada, you have something that's really expensive to maintain. Province has to spend money for you. It costs a lot of money. They have a certain budget they are evaluating you against, and they're seeing that if it's more than that number, you might be too expensive to afford. They don't want you here because you know how much taxes you're paying and how much money the government has to spend for you. Might be too much of money. So you might be they call it medically inadmissible to Canada, so they might not let you in. When do medicals happen? Well, they usually happen in the end of your process. So if you're applying for a student visa, that's over 6 months, work permit, super visa, permanent residency, anything over 6 months you're residing in Canada, you have to do that. And in the last stage, they would ask you for medicals. Usually it's the last stage of your application. You can do them ahead of time, but you know, it's medicals is usually the last stage from my experience. Sometimes they might ask you for more stuff, but medicals is like a decisive part. And how it was for me, and how it was for my parents. For me it was very easy, because I'm young, healthy, no issues, no complaining. My parents are over 70. So I'll tell you where the nightmare begins. Let's start with a good thing. For me, I went in, did x-ray. They had to do it 2 times. I think they just screwed up on the first time. I don't like doing x-rays too much because it's radiation, right? So then blood test, everything in Ukraine first. In Ukraine, the medicals were like crazy. They were checking me for a student as if I am joining Canadian Army and as if I'm here to repopulate the nation. I don't know what's going on, why they were looking at me as a, counting my toes on my legs and everything. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. In Ukraine, the panel of physicians in Ukraine is like they're overdoing things, with their research and everything. It's just, it always happens in the countries that are not as developed. In Canada, when I had to do my permanent residency, I had to do my medicals, it was in and out. I went in and I went out. That's basically it. I did the blood work. I had to blood work, urine, and x-ray, and I've seen the physician. That's it. Done. in one day. In Ukraine, nightmare. Had to travel to Kiev, 600 kilometers from my city, do it there, and the same day in the evening I had to travel 600 kilometers back to my city. I was so tired, it was crazy. Now, in Canada it was way easier to do it than it was in Ukraine for me. My parents, I put them on super visa, guys, so they were coming here as visitors, and they had to do their medicals as well. Now that's where the nightmare begins, guys. They went for medicals. I got a letter, we got a letter, and they have to do medicals. We arranged it with the panel of physicians. All the COVID-19 restrictions, cannot travel to that city. It took longer, we still made it. We went to that city. We did they went to that city. I was in Canada, 600 kilometers. They did their medicals. And a 70-year-old couple had to travel that far. They did their medicals. They did so many researches there. They went back to their city. Now, London office of Canada Immigration asks for more investigations from my mother and from my father. So they had to go to their physician, get all those documents. Then they were asked to go there again for medical examinations. They had to travel there again to Kiev later on. So actually it all started with biometrics. They had to go for biometrics first time to Kiev, then they had to come back, then they had to go for their medicals, because at that time when their biometrics were requested, they didn't request the medicals. Then they had to go for medical 600 kilometers and then come back, 70-year-old people, and then they had to go back to my city, get additional stuff from their doctors, then they had to go back for medicals again, do that again, and then they had to come back. So one time they had to find biometrics, 2 times for medicals, and then after that they had to go again to their physician and submit additional documents, and then they had to send it out to them, and then they asked them to go back again to Kiev. Luckily the doctors in Kiev said that they just need additional documents from the physician, and that was it. It took forever to get it all done. Nightmare for my parents to travel around all around the place. And then funny thing is this, they came to Canada on August 19th, and the same day they got an invitation to do their medicals, not for super visa this time, but for their permanent residency. Well, it is insane. So they're saying go again, do the medicals. So I panicked, started booking the appointment just to find out that it's $260 per person for a doctor, $50 for Calgary labs tests that you cannot book them right now. They're booked 1 month ahead because of the COVID-19 situation, but Immigration Canada gives you 30 days to get them done. So you need to ask for extension as well, because you can't even book blood tests here in Canada because of COVID-19. And they had to do all of it together. So they are saying, and it's going to be just under $1,000. My parents panicked. My mom had to do 3 x-rays this year. And she's like, I'm not going to be doing another x-ray because you might get too much radiation, you can die from cancer. You know, it's stupid, guys. It's a nightmare, this medicals. Luckily, I had a chance to call those guys at Bright Immigration. By the way, guys, if you need help with immigration, I'll leave a link in the description. Go through that link, check that out. Those guys are really good. They are lawyers, they're professionals. So they suggested I call them and find out more information. And guys, so I did. I called CAC Immigration, took forever to get hold of them. The lady said, I'm going to request your medicals. The funny thing is that CAC, after that, I don't think they did anything. So next day, I called again, and I got a different person. Guys, this is Canada. It's not I'm calling some other company, you know, somewhere in the third world country. Finally, a good person picked up. He sent me an email saying that they do have medicals, and my parents don't have to do medicals because they already have the medicals. So why would they even send the mail for my parents to do medicals? That's a question I have, guys, that I don't have answer for. So I canceled all the doctor's appointments, but now they said that I have to call the provincial government, fill up a form, send it to them, and then I have to send a form to Ottawa, for my parents, because my mother, she has a scar in one of her lungs, and they want to do additional examination even though the medicals are done. So there is more paperwork. Medicals turned into a long-lasting nightmare. You know, they are requested to do medicals 2 times even though they are valid for 12 or 13 months. Pretty sure it's 12 months after you do them. So guys, all I'm trying to say is that people are people everywhere. People make mistakes. And when you're having your application for permanent residency, I would always suggest, guys, that you have somebody helping you out. You know, some immigration lawyer or consultant, because they deal with all this kind of stuff all the time. Even immigration officers who are really professional, really good in what they do, they too make mistakes sometimes. So you have to have a professional handling that, and I'll leave a link in the description to those guys. We work together with them. They're really good. Next thing is I want to tell you guys is that it's a nightmare. I had to spend hours calling back. You call CAC like I did yesterday, you have to wait on the line forever to get hold of anyone. They even told me we have too many phone calls, don't call us, you call us back later, or go to CAC website. But some things are not there. So, and I think this video is going to be helpful because I did the research on Google. Is it a different medical examination for 6-month visa, for super visa? Is it different from your, you know, from permanent residency? Do you have to do another one? Is it, what are they checking? So nobody had answers for that. On the internet, you know, it's even not every professional knows the answer to that, but finally I got the answer. So they don't have to do the medicals again. Thank God, guys. It is the same medicals for a super visa that they did, that is for permanent residency. So if you're searching for that answer on the internet like I was panicking, and I hope this video is going to save you $1,000 like it saved for me, because I don't have to spend another $1,000 for their medicals in Canada. I hope this video is helpful, guys. I want to see your comments, want to see what you think about it. Is it ridiculous to do this medicals? Did you have any issues with that? You know, guys, I wish you all the best, good health. You know, hopefully we'll get out of this pandemic soon, and hopefully you'll be able to reunite with your parents like I do right now, because they haven't yet opened the intake for parents and grandparents in 2020, and I'm so sad about it because people have been waiting. You know, I must have been lucky last year when I made it through that 20,000 application that they opened in 5 minutes. I filled out application, and that's how I got to the stage right now. Lots of people are not even able to sponsor their parents because Canada shut their doors down because of the pandemic. Guys, see you soon, and hopefully you'll reunite with your family members as well here in Canada. Bye for now.